Olive is an ostrich. She lives with her family in the outback. But Olive is very different. Olive's dad loves to run. Olive isn't a fast runner. Olive's mum enjoys laying huge eggs. Olive doesn't like the look of that at all. Olive's little brother pecks at the ground to find tasty roots to eat. Pecking at the ground makes Olive sneeze. But Olive has an incredible imagination. So while the rest of her family are running, pecking and laying eggs, Olive can be found imagining herself going on amazing adventures when she buries her head down, down into the sand. Until she popped up somewhere new. Olive found herself in a large, empty kitchen.
Hello? Anyone around?
Oh, at last, you're my new dinner lady. I'm Margaret.
Oh, hello. I'm Olive.
Oh, no time to chat. We're 3 dinner ladies short at school today. They're all off. It's just me and you left to serve all the children their lunches.
Oh, dear. Well, I'll do my best.
Thanks, Olive. Now, I need you to take all the food I've been cooking out of the ovens and put them on display at the service counter, please. Let's go to work.
Olive ran about, getting the food to the counter. Nearby, a bald man in a suit was attaching a large "No running" sign to the wall with black sticky tape.
No running.
When he finished, he marched over to Margaret.
Hello, Margaret. I know you're a few dinner ladies short today, but it's important that you serve the children quickly, please, so they're back for lessons by 1 o'clock.
Oh, yes, Headmaster, absolutely. Right, Olive, hold on to your hairnet.
The hall doors burst open and hordes of children came streaming in. They piled into the lunch line and instantly started yelling their orders.
Chips, mushy peas and a cheeseburger, please.
Tuna salad with mashed potato.
Fresh fruit.
Before long, Olive and Margaret were completely overrun with orders. Olive was working so quickly, she started mixing everything up. She served tuna salad inside burger buns and fruit with chips and was spilling things on the floor.
Oh, my cake! I don't know what's going on.
Oh, Olive, we're not fast enough. I need 10 arms to serve this many meals. What are we going to do?
Olive looked around the kitchen and noticed lots of kitchen utensils hanging on the wall. She also remembered the sticky tape the headmaster was using earlier.
Kitchen spoons and ladles, some sticky tape. I think I may have an idea. Hold out your arms, Margaret. I've thought of a way to give you some more arms.
Margaret held her arms out. Olive attached spoons to her elbows and knees and a large soup ladle to the top of her head.
Now you can serve much faster than before, using every part of your body to scoop and serve. If you attach the rest to me, we'll get through these lunches in no time.
They started serving again. They each balanced on one leg while using every part of their body to scoop up the different food orders. The queue was finally moving quickly.
5 minutes, ladies.
Said the headmaster sternly. Olive and Margaret worked faster and faster.
Careful, Olive.
It was all going so well. But then Olive stepped back onto some slippery mashed potato. She skidded, went crashing into the food counter, then hurtled into Margaret.
Oh, sorry.
They landed in a big heap on the floor, and all the food they were serving went flying.
Cake.
Olive covered her eyes as the food sailed through the air, but the food miraculously landed right onto the students' plates, serving everyone left waiting in the line.
Oh, we did it. Oh, and all thanks to your quick thinking, Olive.
It wasn't just quick thinking, it was some super quick serving. I think I need a good lie down.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Cake? Actually, I helped a dinner lady serve the school lunches.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in a big science laboratory, surrounded by test tubes filled with colourful, bubbling liquids. She wore a white lab coat and a big pair of safety goggles. Suddenly, she heard a voice.
No. What is the answer to this problem?
Olive turned around and saw a small man in a lab coat. He was muttering to himself and staring into a microscope.
Hello, I'm Olive.
Ouch, you startled me. I am Professor Comeover, but you can call me Hair Comeover. I am a very busy scientist. What can I do for you?
I was going to ask you the same thing. Are you in a spot of bother?
I've been trying to invent a cure for baldness for many years. It's driving me mad.
The professor turned and picked up 2 bottles from the table.
I need to mix together the right ingredients for the cure. If I do, I will have beautiful flowing hair again. Oh, how I miss my hair. Look, this is me when I was younger. Handsome, eh? I just can't find the right ingredients.
I don't know much about ingredients for your cure, I'm afraid.
Then Olive spotted something in the corner of the lab.
A mop. I think I may have an idea. Close your eyes, Hair Comeover.
Professor Comeover closed his eyes. Olive pulled the handle off the mop and stuck it on top of the professor's head.
You can open your eyes now.
The professor looked in a mirror.
I look like my great-aunt Brunhilde.
He shrieked.
I don't want this. I want to grow my own.
All right, keep your hair on.
Look, if you really want to help, I need you to get that big blue book down from the shelf.
Well, this book can't have been open in a very long time. It's covered in dust.
Olive opened the book and dust flew up everywhere. And Olive couldn't help sneezing.
Achoo!
The sneeze made her fall backwards into a shelf filled with hundreds of bottles. One of them toppled over and poured orange liquid into a beaker of purple liquid on the table.
No, wait, that's not good.
Cried the professor. All of a sudden there was a huge bang.
I don't believe it. It's a miracle. You did it, Olive. You found the cure for baldness. You're a scientific genius.
Professor Comeover was so excited he danced about all over the place.
Thanks very much.
Beamed Olive. It was then she caught her own reflection in the mirror.
Well, I like it, but this huge hairdo could take some getting used to. Hey, would you like me to style yours a bit?
Why not?
Replied the professor. Using a comb and a pair of scissors, Olive went to work styling the professor's new hairdo.
What do you think?
Thank you very much.
Well, it looks like you won't be needing to read this dusty old science book anymore. Oh no, I'm going to... Achoo! I've lost all me hair. Oh well, here today, gone tomorrow, eh?
They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I've been helping cure baldness.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in a huge room with large pictures on the walls and big, oddly shaped objects all over the place.
Oh, what a colourful place.
Suddenly, Olive heard a voice.
Where did I put them?
One of the objects began to move. It was a seagull. It wore a beret and was waving around a paintbrush. Olive jumped.
I didn't notice you back there. I'm Olive.
Greetings. I'm Vincent van Gogh, famous artist and sculptor. This is my gallery, and these are my paintings and sculptures. You like them, yes?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Exclaimed Olive.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very talented, it's true. But I just need to paint one more painting on this blank canvas for my big exhibition. Problem is, I can't find my tubes of paint. God!
Then Olive noticed something shining on one of the sculptures.
A telescope? I think I may have an idea.
Olive looked through the telescope for clues, and on the floor she spotted some drips of paint. She followed the trail of paint over to a sculpture of a man having a good old think.
Here's one.
Said Olive, throwing it down to Vincent.
Ah, my green paint.
Here's another.
Ah, my yellow paint.
Olive continued to follow the trail, finding Vincent's tubes of paint in all sorts of interesting places. She found Vincent's blue paint, his orange paint, and his purple paint. Vincent was very pleased.
Oh, yes, I must have left my paints in my great works of art as I was creating them. Well spotted, Olive. You have the eye of a great artist.
Thanks very much.
But where is my lucky color? Red.
Hey, I think I see it.
Olive had spotted it at the very top of the tallest sculpture in the room.
How are we going to reach that?
Don't worry, Vincent. I'll get it.
Olive jumped up on the sculpture and started to climb. She reached out and just managed to knock the paint down to Vincent.
Oh, well done, Olive.
He exclaimed.
Now I have all my paints.
As Olive cheered, she lost her balance. Olive landed on top of Vincent, who dropped his tubes of paint, which squirted all over Olive as they hit the ground. Cried Olive as she stumbled backwards, covered in paint, and fell onto the blank canvas.
Oh, no. Are you all right, Olive?
I'm okay, but I think I've ruined your canvas.
But when Olive pulled herself away from the canvas, on it was an amazing multicoloured painting of Olive.
It's spectacular!
Exclaimed Vincent.
It's a masterpiece, the best in my big exhibition.
Hey, I've always wanted to be in a painting.
Giggled Olive. They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay. Actually, I had a painting in an art exhibition.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was outside in the rain, right in the middle of a large muddy field. She was wearing a maroon-coloured shirt and was holding an umbrella to keep her dry.
Oh, Bagek, I'm wearing a sports kit.
There was a goal at each end of the muddy field, and behind one of the goals there was a large tree laden with apples.
Hey, number 7.
Shouted a tall pig with a clipboard.
Hello, I'm Olive.
I'm Sean Curlytail. I coach the Richmond Hockey Hogs.
He said, pointing towards a group of pigs all wearing the same maroon kit as Olive.
And you must be our missing team member.
Oh, how exciting.
Problem is, you're not the only thing missing. Today, I forgot to bring the hockey sticks and hockey balls. We can't play hockey without them.
Olive looked at the big apple tree.
Some apples? My umbrella? I think I may have an idea.
Olive organised the team into a large pyramid with hair at the very top. Olive hooked her umbrella around a branch that had lots of apples hanging down from it. She shook the branch and all the apples fell off it and tumbled to the ground.
Oh, this is all well and good, and apples are very tasty. But how does this help us play hockey?
Well, a hockey ball is small and round like an apple. And a hockey stick is a long, straight stick with a curve on the bottom, a bit like this umbrella.
Oh, brilliant idea, Olive. But to play a game of hockey, we all need a stick. Excuse me.
Piped up a small pig.
I'm Sophie Swine, the captain of the Hogs. Why don't we have a penalty shootout? We only need one stick for that.
Great idea!
Said Sean, and he quickly organised the competition. Each pig would get one shot on goal, using an apple as the ball and Olive's umbrella as the hockey stick. Sophie Swine volunteered to play in goal. Everyone took turns to shoot. Some shot too high, some shot too low. But every time, Sophie would get in the way of the apple ball and eat it. stopping it going into the goal. For one shot, she even did a backward somersault, landing on her feet and gobbling up the apple.
Well, you're the last player, Olive. No one has managed to get a goal yet. So if you score a goal now, then you're the winner.
Olive took a long run up and swung for the apple ball. But the pitch was so wet, she slipped. Her shot had lost all of its power. Olive watched as the ball rolled slowly towards the line. But instead of saving the apple ball by eating it, Sophie simply let it roll through her legs and into the goal.
Goal!
Shouted Sean.
Olive's the winner!
The other pigs cheered and lifted Olive high into the air.
Heck, I'm glad I won. Sophie, why didn't you save my shot?
Sorry, I would have done, but my tummy's too full of apples.
Said Sophie before letting out a huge burp. They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I've been playing a wonderful game of hockey.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive found herself in a room with shelves and worktops piled high with mounds of dust. She was wearing an apron decorated with pictures of violins, cellos and bassoons.
Heck, this place could do with a spot of dusting.
Just then, two smiling woodworms popped their head out of a dust pile.
Oh, hello.
Said Olive. The woodworms vanished before popping up from another dust pile.
My, you're both quick on your feet. I mean, tummies.
Before either worm had a chance to reply, whoosh! A large net fell over them, sending clouds of dust up into the air. The dust made Olive cough.
Did I get them? Yeah. No. Missed them again.
As the dust cleared, she found herself face to face with a tall wolf wearing an apron just like hers.
Hello, I am Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, instrument maker to the king. This is my workshop.
I'm Olive. Nice to meet you, Wolfgang. But, I don't see any instruments.
This was a cello. This was a violin. And this was a bassoon to be played at the king's birthday concert tonight.
Oh, I don't think you'll get much sound out of those instruments.
This I know. It's those woodworm. As soon as I make any instrument from wood, they eat it. See? If I don't make the bassoon for the king's birthday concert tonight, he will be very upset. You must help me, Olive.
Olive thought hard.
Well, if the woodworm only like to eat wood, maybe you could make a bassoon out of something else.
But what?
Olive looked around at things in the workshop.
A vacuum cleaner, a bicycle pump. I think I may have an idea.
With Wolfgang's help, Olive used the vacuum cleaner's bendy pipe to form the body of the bassoon. Then they used the top of the bicycle pump as its mouthpiece.
Finished!
Now to see how it sounds, yeah?
Wolfgang placed his lips to the bicycle pump mouthpiece and blow.
Is that how a bassoon is supposed to sound, Wolfgang?
Wolfgang stopped playing and shook his head.
No, that sounded terrible.
Just then, Olive remembered how the woodworm had reacted to the sound.
Those greedy woodworm didn't like the noise the bassoon made either. Wolfgang, you start to make your new wooden bassoon for the king's birthday concert. I think I know how I can keep those woodworm away.
Olive blew into the bassoon as she marched up and down. The woodworm couldn't stand the noise, and soon they wiggled away. And at last, Wolfgang finished making what would be his finest wooden bassoon.
Perfect. Thank you, Olive. Without your help, the concert would have been a disaster. Would you like to come as my guest?
I think I've heard enough bassoons for one day, thank you.
They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay. Actually, I helped make a bassoon for a king.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was in a big room surrounded by tall shelves full of books. It was very quiet.
Where am I?
Said Olive rather loudly.
Shh! Be quiet, please. You're in a library.
A face peered out from behind one of the bookshelves. It was a little red squirrel with a big bushy tail.
Oh, sorry.
Olive whispered.
I'm Olive. Why is it so quiet in this library?
Because it's a place where you come to read or borrow books. It's best to have quiet when you're trying to read. I'm Henry Huckleberry, and I love to read.
Oh, me too.
Trouble is, I can't find my favourite book anywhere.
What's it called?
It's a big yellow book called Attack of the Mutant Space Frogs. It's really awesome.
It was then Olive and Henry heard someone muttering.
Oh dear, oh dear.
They peered behind a shelf and saw a little red-faced bookworm putting books back on the shelves.
Oh dear, oh bother.
Excuse me.
Whispered Olive.
What? What is it? I'm very busy, you know.
We're looking for a book. Wilfred, it's called Attack of the Mutant...
Sorry, I haven't got time to find your book. I've got all these books to put back on the shelves. Too much to do. Got to go.
Henry sighed.
This place is such a mess. My book could be anywhere.
Wait.
Said Olive.
Look, there's a yellow book on the top of that tall shelf.
Oh, yes, that's Attack of the Mutant Space Frogs. But we're never going to reach it way up there.
Lots of books that can be piled up really high. I think I may have an idea.
Henry and Olive stacked the books higher and higher until the pile almost touched the ceiling.
There, we'll have your book down in no time.
Olive began to climb the stack of books, but as Olive climbed higher, the books became more and more wobbly.
Be careful, Olive.
Whispered Henry. Finally, Olive got to the top. She had to lean over to grab Henry's book with her beak, but then the stack of the books really started to wobble. Olive couldn't keep her balance anymore. And then the whole stack collapsed. The books came tumbling down into a huge heap, burying Olive and Henry.
Oops.
Said Olive. Wilfred came rushing over.
Shh! What is this terrible mess?
Sorry, we were just trying to get my favourite book from the top shelf, and it all went horribly wrong.
We can help you put all these books back on the shelves, Wilfred.
Well, yes, I suppose that would be very helpful.
So Olive, Henry and Wilfred put all the books back onto the shelves. Finally, there was just one book left.
Wow! Attack of the Mutant Space Frogs. I've been looking for this book for ages. It's my favourite.
Wow, mine too.
Beamed Henry.
Why don't we read it together?
Yes! Great idea!
Shouted Wilfred.
Shush.
Shushed Olive and Henry.
Sorry,
Whispered Wilfred.
I should really keep my voice down. This is a library, don't you know?
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay. Actually, I helped find Attack of the Mutant Space Frogs.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure.